Back to Satoshi Chain. My name is Adam, and we're going to be going over another crypto loss video from the archives. This is from 2022, so obviously during the last bear market. Channel name is called Over Leveraged, so we already know where this is going probably. He did write a report, a brief kind of update saying that he's actually trading again and he's doing well so far, and we'll see if he's able to take profits. It's one of the hardest parts of the bull market. I haven't watched this video yet, so let's go watch it together.
What's up, YouTube? Y'all don't know me. I don't make YouTube videos very often. Actually, I don't make YouTube videos at all. This is my first YouTube video. But after the recent events from the past 3 days in my life, which maybe this story will help give someone solace in who experienced the same thing as me, maybe worse or on a different scale, but many of you probably have seen, if you clicked on this video, that what has happened with Luna, Terra token, and then UST.
Okay.
But I am one of those who made the terrible mistake of losing my life savings on one crypto that basically now has become worthless.
Yep.
So a few nights ago, I arrived in Las Vegas for...
I think most people are aware of what happened with Luna Terra. I will just say that I did have $10,000 that I put into TerraLuna. It went up to about 20, it doubled. I took out the profit from there. I actually went a bit higher. They went up to like $150. I took out $125 each per Luna Terra. But I got lucky because I watched videos actually about algorithmic stablecoins and how they had all failed in the past. There was a video that was being uploaded, and I think I will just add here that it's very critical to, especially as the froth starts to build in the bull run, to seek out countervailing views from the other side of the aisle, people who are going to critique your tokens, because too many people are... This is how FOMO works, right? Too many people become optimistic. They all kind of gather in at the same time. It's a feeding frenzy, and then it's kind of like musical chairs. The music stops, and not everyone can take a seat. So obviously, I got lucky there. I could have lost the 10,000. I ended up taking up 20,000 USD from that, which is great. But I wonder, I could have easily lost it, and I have lost money sometimes on crypto. There's been scams where I put about $1,000 in, and I've lost the money. I went basically on deck scan and tried to do something. But one of the moral of the stories is the more high risk you are on the risk curve of crypto, the less you want to put your portfolio in. And the siren song that's guiding us all is like to take our whole holdings here and move it into something that sounds very profitable. Do not do that. So have a portfolio strategy. Obviously, Cryptos R Us, Virtual Bacon, they talk about strategies that include either 50% Bitcoin or 80% Bitcoin. If you're 50% Bitcoin, then obviously that lowers your downside risk overall. And Bitcoin's not going anywhere, unlike other things that might actually go to zero, like Luna did. Then there's also a risk with keeping your coins on exchanges. And every cycle we're going to hear people say they lost it all in a crypto. They got rug pulled. They put it into a meme coin that didn't go anywhere. Or an exchange crash. So we're going to keep hearing these stories, and it is heartbreaking. So let's continue.
For a meeting with work. I work for a major automotive company, and we have a convention here. And Tuesday night after the meetings, I came into my hotel room. I had about... at one point, it was about $115,000 that I put into BICO, another crypto that was down at the time, and I thought it was a good opportunity to potentially double my money. I was trying to, basically get to about 500 grand to where I would have the freedom to see my son more, who lives in a different state.
I'm just going to stop here as well. The idea, again, the time horizon is another issue that I have when people are in speculating, gambling on crypto, was just to say, like, I've got this amount of money and I'm going to, double it within this time period. That you should hear yourself when you say that and be worried, because it's like if someone were trying to sell you a product where they kind of said, there's a really high chance you're going to double your money. you should be worried. And I don't know when he got into these tokens, but by definition, I'll say this again. I'm going to keep saying this in these videos. At the halfway point of the bull market, again, no one knows when it's going to end, but at the halfway point, literally 100% more of the money comes in, because by definition, that's the 50% mark. So beyond the 50% mark, 100% more of the money comes in. We double the entire money that we've been building up for about a year and a half, gets doubled in a very short time period, say 3 to 6 months. If you're making plays and moves within that time period, so if at any point in the bull market you're looking at the slow buildup that's getting you to this FOMO thing where everyone's talking about it, that's getting you activated, you're interested now. If you see that buildup, you're already like basically another 40% above that buildup, 30% above that buildup, it's time to question what you're doing here, basically. So if it took a year and a half for Bitcoin to triple, and then in 2 months it's doubled from that tripling, it's already doubled from that tripling. So now we're 6x, right? And it's happened in a really short time period now. So the 3x was gained over a year and a half. The other 3x was gained over now a doubling of that. So the doubling of that thing, which gets you to 6x from the bottom, happened over 3 to 6 months. Be very worried. And I wonder when he got in.
And so with that plan in place or whatever over the past 2 weeks, the market's been down. So my investment got down to about 42 grand. And, you know, I was still pretty confident right there that eventually it would recover. But as I was scrolling through Coinbase to see all the different current cryptos and where they were sitting, I saw Luna, or wrapped Luna on Coinbase, where it was, down 98%, and it was just under $10. And I pay pretty close attention to all the cryptos each day. So this was surprising to me, and I thought it was just an irrational sell-off. And so
he's actually okay. I didn't. He actually went in. So we'll see if he was listening to the news or not. I'm not sure. Let's go.
When in Vegas gambling, right?
Wow.
I took the risk thinking, I'm gonna sell out of BICO and I'm gonna take every dollar of that, jump into this coin, which I did. I bought.
And so just to recount the story, he's down about 66% on his initial his principal, because the coin that he lost went down 2/3. And he sold out of that position, taking that loss, and then went into Luna Terra when it was 98% down. I mean, obviously he knows, because he's following it and he's engaged again in crypto, so he knows what he did. But that is crazy risk. I mean, that is when in Vegas, right? Like, holy shit. Okay, let's continue.
All 42 grand plus another 5 grand in a Webull account, into BICO at around 590 on Coinbase with the 42 grand, and then later I bought all my Webull in at about $2 when it the next day. So anyway, that night I wake up and it's about 80 cents when I wake up in the morning, and then kind of going up to $1, and I was like, crap. But I thought, you know what, it's just one of those super volatile things. Like, this can recover. This is clearly a fluke thing. This is a top 10 token. There's no way it's gonna, go to zero or lose all of its value, or it's not gonna go below $1. Like, I'm thinking about calling the banks to try to get a loan as fast as I can, for like 20, 30, 40 grand, get it in there and try to make the money back, right? Or make even more on the way up, and finally hit my lottery ticket to give me the financial freedom I've been working towards. And so eventually I'm late for my meetings. I got to go. So I head to the.
And what he's describing, the mentality too, and this is where, people describe crypto as being PvP, so player versus player. And it really is that, especially during the bull, when there's mania and Bitcoin is deviated off of its fair value by quite a lot. And we're starting to see that now. We kind of just recaptured fair value, even though we're at 100,000, we're kind of recaptured the fair value zone, but we're quickly deviating out of it, basically. And if we get to 150 USD or even 200 USD, I mean, we're going to be heavily deviated out of the fair value. Fair value is just the statistical averaging of Bitcoin through its up and downs over a past chart. So you could draw kind of a line, a linear type line that's going up through a logarithmic chart essentially. And so the fair value, anything under that line would be a sale, and anything above that line would be time to sell, basically like a bargain versus time to sell. So yeah, it's a player versus player game. So if he's thinking like he's going to flip and make money, there are a bunch of other people, not the majority, but the whales, not the majority again, like maybe 20% of the people who have 80% of the capital, who are going to start dunking on people with the mentality that he's describing, where it's like my financial freedom's at risk. Obviously, he knows what he did. He knows the risk, but let's learn from this again. When we're up and we've deviated past the fair value quite a lot, which at this bull run in 2024, I think it's going to be 120 to 150 USD. It is time to start locking in, and at that time, you must be aware that the people who are talking with you, friends are starting to ask you questions. People are starting to open up accounts on Coinbase like never before. It's it's in the top social metrics. Coinbase is in the top one app on the Apple Store and the Android Store, like Coinbase, Kraken, the big exchanges. They're the top downloaded app of the week, of the month, and Coinbase's amount of new accounts is exploding through the roof, and the social metrics on social YouTube, like the viewership now has gone up to all-time highs basically, and we're going to see that again on channels like Crypto Banter, Virtual Bacon, Cryptos R Us. They're going to be reporting that we have all-time high watching. You're going to see the froth is going up in the market, and that people are in here with the glazed over, with the starry eyes, like he's thinking like, I'm going to make this play, I'm going to make a lot of money. That's the time to get out for sure. But again, I'm not trying to hit him while he's down, but he knows. I think he knows the mistake he made. But it is wild to hear the story.
The meetings go throughout the day, paying attention to it. One point that morning, I went to the bathroom. It had ran up to like just over $7, and so I was like sitting there using the urinal, saw it at $7, and I thought to myself, I need to just sell this. When I saw it at $1 this morning, I need to just get back out because I could get out break even from what I bought in at, and just reevaluate which coin I wanted to jump back into, to get back on track for a recovery. And I didn't, because I had my sell at $7.49, which did not get filled. And then later that afternoon, I came back and it was down to like $2.50. I was like, shit, looks like I'm losing my money. So a little bit after that, later that afternoon, it was teetering between $2 and $2.50. I saw it rising up from $2, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to take all the money out of my Webull. I'm going to sell that off and put that into here as well, because clearly it's going to go back up. It's not going to sit here.
Are you talking about Luna Terra still? I'm just a little confused, but let's keep watching.
The second mistake. And then after that, it basically just started going down.
Right.
So that night, I talked to my girlfriend, kind of told her what was going on, and it was down to about $1. And I was like, honey, like this might be one of the greatest opportunities you could have to make a bunch of money real quick. And I talked her into getting a brokerage account with Webull, because it was easy to use, and so she had like about $1,000 in there original invested, most of it in crypto, and which was now down to about $600. So sold out what she had, bought into Luna at $1.06, and then I got on the phone with her and explained, hey honey, I'm about to be in a meeting. I need to make sure you're aware, because I kind of handled the account for her. Want to make sure you're aware of how you can sell this. You need to pay attention to it over the next 2 to 3 hours, because I won't be able to while I'm in the meeting. And if you see it go to 274, 275, you'll be back over $1,000 on your account. You should sell, or just pay attention to it. And if it goes up further, pick a point and sell it. So I explained how you do a market order to quickly sell it. Easy explanation. So I'm in the meeting, and she calls me and says, hey honey, it's down below $1. It's at 80 cents. and so I'm a little wigged out. So I step out, and then I end up going back to my hotel room at this point. We had only been at the event for maybe 20 minutes. Everyone's having dinner. We're in Las Vegas. It's an awesome situation. I mean, I'm right now. We got the Chainsmokers private concert with our company. I could be sitting there, 5 feet from the Chainsmokers private concert. But when you get to the end of this video, you'll basically see why I couldn't pull myself together to even go to this event. Yeah, beautiful Las Vegas, right? So
I guess as a consolation prize, like a lot of people have worse stories than what he's talking about in Vegas, losing more money, and probably at least some of them needed that money more than he did. Some people probably lost their lives based off the debt that they had. So again, I'm not obviously a very tough position to be in, but in Las Vegas, where this people lose a lot of money there every year, right? Anyways, it's just a little bit of perspective.
So I then came back and started watching it and trading it, and I knew that if it broke
He's
below
trading
$1,
it.
like this thing's gonna go down, probably all the way to the 11 cents, where that lowest support was. But I was cloudy judgment, and wasn't thinking straight. And basically from there just watched my money erode, rather than, at that point it was like 80 cents. I could have just salvaged about $5,000, which, to see what was at one point $115,000 go down to $5,000, and think about how am I ever going to flip that back up to get back to 100 grand, it was never going to happen.
Yeah, and at that point, like, so he's saying it himself, right? He's like, I mean, I think even this autopsy that he's doing is a little bit incorrect. I wouldn't take that position. So the fact that he's saying, like, how could I get the 5,000 back up to 115? That's not going to happen. But in the way he's talking, it's almost like he's saying, but if it was 20,000, if it was 20,000, I could have devised a plan. This way of approaching crypto, and I think markets in general, is fraught with issues. It's a bankrupt way, and he probably knows this. It's a bunk way. You shouldn't be devising your plan as you're in the moment, as you're selling, as things are going up, as things are going down. You should create a plan beforehand and then act on it. So again, the way that he's thinking about this, I don't think is correct, right? The way he's phrased it kind of elicits this idea that, well, he couldn't make it back probably on 5,000, but maybe if he had 20,000 to work with, then he could devise a plan on making it back. And I don't think that this is an appropriate way in any market, whether it's crypto or traditional markets, to be thinking. So you should probably have a plan beforehand. I don't mean to be sanctimonious about this. I'm just describing, like, this is how I would approach it. Having a plan beforehand, having a conviction, looking at Bitcoin as the main kind of demarker of where you are in the current cycle and what the possibilities are for these various altcoins, and obviously deciding to take profits in certain increments, having dry powder so that you could go back in. Dry powder being like a war chest of funds that are not invested, that are not exposed, so that you can go back in when you need to or when you want to. But of course, you can't keep going back into a bull market. Eventually, it'll end. The musical chairs will stop, and you'll be kind of left out. So, but this thinking of, like, I can lower my war chest by 80%, and I can devise a plan to get it back. Like, this is not the way that you want to be approaching anything in markets or trading.
So I didn't, and I was frustrated or whatever, and I kind of just prayed about it. Went to bed. Talked to my girl about what's going on, and then next morning I woke up, and sure enough, it was down to like 20 cents, 18 cents, 10 cents. and then I, you know, almost lost it. I didn't even know what to do. I couldn't even think that life was real right now. That was every penny I had. On top of that, had $30,000 racked up on a zero interest credit card because I've been putting my money into the crypto and not paying off that credit card, and basically using that as like a free loan to DCA into crypto while we were in a down point over the past year, thinking by this time next year, if I rack up whatever $25,000 or something, I'll greatly outpace it with the crypto market. And so, I had all the money to pay that off. Any money I owed anybody else, I had that to pay off. I don't borrow money from people, but I did have, about 10 grand I borrowed from my dad a while back for a different situation. But anyways, I then went about my day and came back this afternoon, and then it was down to a penny.
Yep.
And I was just...
And so the numbers he's talking about, I'm fully aware. Again, I had that Luna position. What I did actually was, like, the day after it crashed, or like a few days after it crashed, I went back in with what I did was I bought $10 worth of Luna, which was the equivalent of $1 million a few days prior. So just to put it into perspective, and I did this just to do it, and just to have this story. Like, I'm like, I don't think this thing's not coming. My $10 I'm not going to see again. It's probably going to go lower, right? But I just wanted to do it for myself. Basically, I had a $10,000 position. I doubled the money. I more than doubled, but I pulled out at double. It's okay to not get the top. But I went back in a few days later with just $10 and calculated it out that it would be worth $1 million a few days prior. So that is the amount of decline that Luna had. I was able to go back in a few days later and buy $1 million worth of it for $10.
Didn't even know what to think, Not only that, it just kept going down, and it kept going down farther and farther.
I think to how he felt like rug pulls as well as exchanges collapsing are very common in crypto, and I can only imagine. I should look at videos where people left their coins on exchanges like FTX or Mt. Gox or Quadriga, and woke up and there was news. There's something going on with Mt. Gox, FTX. There's something, and then they're trying to get their account. They can't even load the web page, or they load the web page and it shows 000. There's other people who get their wallets drained, so they click yes to authorization on certain apps that they shouldn't be on, and they end up giving their secret key to a bad actor. So I just, in some ways, like, he's in good company. This happened to a lot of people, but I feel like the trading one that he's talking about is probably the worst feeling, because with the exchange one, you trusted someone else and you felt like you didn't make a mistake. It's like the mistake was trusting someone else in crypto, to be fair. Like, that was the mistake. But it feels like, you were up on your money, and you were going to cash out in a month. Like, that's the story that people probably have when the exchange loses their money. When you're trading, you have to face the reality, like, oh, I just made a massive mistake. Like, this is, and this is why I'm assuming this is why he's shirtless at this point, just exasperated, just like so down on, like, it's bearing the total weight of the responsibility of that. And he's putting it all out there too. So I commend him for putting out this story, because he's talking about, even like, he's describing the mindset that he's in. It was so skewed and biased in one way to the potential winnings that he saw, that he was even trying to convince his girlfriend to get in at this junction point when it's down, 99%. And I do wonder, I would love to know from him, was he doing any research? Because I remember this as well. So, Luna's falling down. I was watching. It's lost its peg. That was the main thing. There was basically, Luna was doing a transition, and they had made it known to people that they would be vulnerable, essentially, to a depegging while they moved the funds from X, Y, and Z account to upgrade their platform. They actually, like, Dokwon, the guy who was running it, was so cocky, he did it in plain sight. And some people ended up taking advantage of that and arbitraging it and causing the price to crash so that they could benefit, so to cause an extreme short on Luna Terra. and this was all being discovered. But when Luna started losing its peg to the US dollar, the Terra token, I should say, that should have been like already, everyone should have just been like, oh my God, right? So I don't know if he was like, if he understood what Luna Terra was as a stable coin, an algorithmic stable coin play. Once you start losing your peg, that's the whole thing. Like, it's all based off of trust that you can do that. So I don't know. I don't know if he was researching this and if he knew what Luna Terra was on not even a deep way, in a kind of a superficial way. And then he was watching the news as to why this was happening. I don't know why he would have gone. He would have gone back in. Maybe he felt like it's got to go. I mean, he just said it's got to go back up. It must be a mistake. But did he research any of that? I'm just curious. I would love to know.
Next thing you know, what was 115 grand about a month ago, and what was about 80 grand last weekend and 42 grand Tuesday night was now about $2. So, I mean, mind you, I followed what was going on in the news. I knew what was happening. I heard the rumors that they were, minting more and more of this coin, and there could be tons of supply added, but it couldn't really find. It was all, through stock twits or whatever else was, chat room stuff. I wasn't sure how true it was, and
I believe they had a large Bitcoin holding that they were selling to try to buy more of their Luna token so that they could keep the peg of Terra up to $1 USD. I think I've got that. So I'm not sure if I'm confusing Luna with Terra. I think I've got it right though. But in any case, they were doing something like that. When that news comes out, that's like a bank run. That's like the bank selling its assets to try to cover the withdrawals at that point. Like, this is not a good situation. So again, I'm not sure how much he's familiar with the ideas of bank runs and how many companies have collapsed, but it is the same way, where people fundamentally lose trust in the organization or the investment that they are speculating with. And as a result of that loss of trust, more and more people start pulling out the money, which causes more of a loss of trust, because you can see, rumors or not, the mismanagement of the company as it tries to stabilize itself. It starts to make bad decisions, or starts liquidating part of its assets that are basically winning assets that it should not be liquidating. So once you start hearing this, either true or not, it can create a self-fulfilling prophecy, right?
And being the fact that I'm in the middle of these work meetings, I didn't exactly, have the time to really research everything properly. And, that was probably another big mistake. You certainly don't put almost all of your saved up money, especially when you're leveraged and have a $30,000 zero interest credit bill that's due in a month to be paid, when you're not able to pay attention to the high risk trade that you just jumped into. So at the end of the day, I lost it all. June 6th, I got a credit card payment to make of $30,000 that I don't have. And all I basically got is about $65 of chips here at the Caesar's Palace where I'm staying, that I'm trying to decide whether I'm going to just go play this $65 and try to make it back. Although I couldn't even get out in public right now. I should be at the event. Can't do it. I just been back in my room and talking to my girlfriend, trying to get my head straight and figure out how I'm going to move forward. I got a 7-year-old son, and massive child support. This was tough. So anybody else out there who's kind of went through this, I feel for you. People say that, but a lot of people don't know what it actually feels like to lose that much money, especially when you worked really hard to save it up or to trade it up or however you got it, and then just to see it eroded away in 2 days. I did also see these threads about people talking about suicide and different things who've went through massive losses of money, and they don't think it's worth living. And I will say this: if there's anybody out there who's that depressed about the money, you do need to go talk to your friends and family. because there's no amount of money that's more important than your life. And if you're attaching your finances and your wealth to your self-worth and your worth to others, which at times I did, then you might want to seek some help, because it's not a healthy way to think. It's not the way you probably should think, and I don't want anyone to have to go through what I went, and I don't want anyone who did go through what I went through to do something like that. And
Yeah, and I'll just say, like, obviously, like, he's committed some sins that he's confessing right now. Like, these are just like massive blunders, and I would hate to know that, for example, he didn't do this, but if he had committed suicide, essentially his son would lose out on a father because of this, and that's even more of a shame. And of course, his parents would lose a son. Like, it really is a shame, and it really is making me reflect right now. Like, I feel like I'm probably over leveraged in certain ways on crypto. I don't use leverage trading, but overall, there is definitely money that I need to solidify. And right now, I've been looking at the current bull market and looking at it and going, like, I am fairly far up on some positions that I've had for years now. So these are not like short-term positions, but how happy would I be for those to get cut in half, like starting tomorrow? And I know I need to actualize some of that profit. I've got some real estate that I still owe someone, my mother, some amount of money for the down payment. So yeah, it's like I'm in a position too where I'm obviously trying to work towards my financial freedom, but it's good to watch these videos to understand that there's potential in crypto to do that. And I think getting in at a much earlier stage and making the best of a plan and an exit strategy with crypto is definitely a good way to go about it, but there's no guarantees. So yeah, I think the other thing to say here is, like, when you are overextended or when you do have debts that you have to pay off, obviously the place that I have, I'm renting it out, so it's kind of helping to sustain itself right now. So but I still have some money that I need to give back to my mother. So it's a big issue there. It's like, how do we navigate these spaces? Yeah, so I'll leave it like that.
Give up on their life. So anyway, I'll probably check the comments. I've never posted a YouTube video, but got a little bit of knowledge on crypto and a couple other different things. So maybe I'll make some more videos or something if this takes off. But everyone out there who was affected by the Luna catastrophe or any other crypto catastrophe that's gone on, keep your head up. Money's not everything. You'll figure something out. And
I just want to see his video. Let's just do it, because he just posted a follow up here that he said, yeah, I'm doing well. I just haven't posted in a long time because of work life, but I made a big recovery by sticking it out and balance transferring about 30K of cash, zipping interest credit cards, and made some big trades. This was 2 months ago. Okay, so yeah, like this was 2 years ago during the crash, so he's actually been paying attention, I'm hoping. But because this is from 2 months ago, it's like I would love to know if he got back in during the bear market, which I'm guessing he didn't do, because that's like, it's really hard, especially when you've lost a lot, to come back in when everyone's hating on the space. And end of 2022, end of 2022 was like our bottom, right? So beginning of 2023, like, it was just desolate. Like, no one wanted to talk about Bitcoin or crypto. So I'm wondering if he got in then, or if he's because this is 2 months ago, if he's come in more recently when we're already a good chunk of the way through our bull market. Now, we haven't reached that parabolic top yet, the banana zone that Raoul Paul talks about, but we are quite a way through. So it's kind of like I'm interested to see if he learned to get in early, or if he's kind of doing a more risky thing now where he's trading and day trading during with the later end of the bull cycle. So would love to get that feedback from him. Let's just see here.
What's up, YouTube?
Oh, this is 2 years ago. Okay, so he's taken to being shirtless in his videos, which is probably his calling card, which is fine. Let's just go check out if he's got videos from Okay, so so his videos are all from 2 years ago. So this was his first video. Okay, so he made a few videos because people have found some interest in his plight. Since then, did he got 13K views? I would love to see an update from him. So over leveraged, you know, if you could give us an update, I would love to know if you were paying attention during the bear market, or if you're trying to get some winnings now in the
What's up, you?
In the bull market. There's no judging from me here. So if you're kind of back a little bit later on after we already reached the all-time high, I would love to know when you started entering the market again. And yeah, I would like to talk to you as well. I mean, like I'm not an extreme expert. This is my third cycle though, and this is the first full cycle I paid attention to the bear and the bull, and I really like started believing more in the space as having long staying power. So I'd love to talk with you just personally as well. It'd be interesting to find out what you're thinking, what moves you're making, and how much risk, like how you're viewing risk versus reward, given the situation that you were in. And I'm sure diversification is one of the things. He's saying that he's had a few tokens now that he's oh, I don't have the reply over here. Sorry, why did I lose his reply? See if we can find it again. Yeah. Render DNT. I forget what this is, probably a bigger one, but I forget what it is. Render. When these tokens took. Okay, wait. So he made some big. Okay, so he already answered my question again. Let me just keep reading then. So March, April. So during the midway cycle after the Bitcoin halving, he made some moves. So 30K into almost 400K. Holy, that is. I mean, that's better than what I've been doing. That is down from the high. Right. So here it comes again, where his account's down now because he didn't actualize these profits. So I would say over leverage, like definitely take some profits. If you get up to 400K from 30K by doing this kind of trading, definitely take out at least $100,000, like at least double, because you're so, I would say cover your principal by a stable coin, but he could take out even 100,000. But he's also got to cover these losses. So he could have covered his initial principal into this bull run plus his losses by taking out, you know, $180,000 to $200,000. So count is down from the high, but I'm well in the green. Right. He's trading futures as well, which is a little bit more complicated as well. So he's doing derivatives. Yeah, a comprehensive update. Right. So I've had, I know I'm due to get everyone a comprehensive update on how much success I've had since November 2023 and using this borrowed 0% money. But I just need to find the time to record a decent video for you all. Stay tuned. Well, it's awesome. Again, I would love to interview you. I'm trying to reach out to people to interview. So would love to hear your video. Would love to interview you about this time and talk about it on either my channel or your channel, either way. But yeah, definitely a great video. Thanks for sharing as well, and for the kind of the humbleness and the modesty to come out here and talk about what was essentially a really tough time and a failure in trading and clear thinking, in his own words, basically. That's it for me from Satoshi Chain, and I'll talk to you next time. Thanks again, and bye.